Have you ever tried to learn a new language and then just kind of stopped? Maybe it felt like this huge mountain to climb, or just another skill to check off a list. Well, we're going to look at this in a totally different way. We're talking about language learning not as a chore, but as this amazing, empowering journey. Okay, let's get into it.
First things first, let's get some perspective here. If you're starting this journey, you are so far from alone. Get this, a whopping 43% of the entire world is bilingual. This is not some tiny niche club, it's a massive global community, and you're invited to join.
So, what does bilingualism even mean? We're encouraged to think way bigger than just knowing words in two languages. Think of it more like a superpower. It's a tool that actually sharpens your mind, gives you a front row seat to other cultures, and makes you a better communicator in any language. All right, every great journey has a challenge, right? For language learners, that challenge is almost always the same thing: fear. That fear of sounding silly, of making a mistake, of not being perfect. It is the single biggest hurdle, so let's tackle it head on. It's a simple question, but a really important one to ask yourself. What's really holding you back? Is it time, money, or is it that little voice in your head whispering, what if I get it wrong? Pinpointing that fear is your first real step forward. And here is the mindset that changes everything. Mistakes aren't failures. They are the learning process. Every single time you mess up, that's a clue. That's a lesson. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be brave enough to make those mistakes and just keep going. That's how you get there. Look, perfection just isn't the goal. Growth is. And in the right environment, with the right people, mistakes stop being scary. They become fuel. They're the very things that give you the courage to try something new, to take a risk. Okay, so we've looked that fear in the eye. Now what? Now it's time to build your toolkit. This is the fun part, the practical stuff. We're going to look at the proven methods and mindsets that actually work. Our source material highlights 3 main paths. First up, you've got immersion. Think of this as jumping into the deep end, surrounding yourself with a language. Then there are dual language programs where you're building up 2 languages at the same time. And third, there's this really cool idea called translingual practices. This is where you use everything you've got, switching between languages if you need to, just to get your point across. Like how bilingual people actually talk in the real world. So let's quickly compare those first 2. Immersion, that's all about speed. You learn fast because you kind of have to. Dual language, on the other hand, is more about balance. It's not just about learning words. It's about building a real sense of cultural pride and identity. Both are incredibly effective, just in different ways. But no matter which path you end up on, there's one tool that is absolutely non-negotiable. And it's so simple. One of the best ways to build your vocabulary is just to read. And that's because reading is so much more than just memorizing a dictionary. When you get lost in a good book or an interesting article, you're absorbing how sentences are built. You're picking up on the tone, and you're seeing the culture behind the words. You're basically building a relationship with the language itself. So you've got the right mindset, you're building your toolkit, but there is one more piece of the puzzle, and it might be the most important one. You don't have to do this alone. In fact, you shouldn't. It's time to find your guides. We've all been there, right? Sitting alone with a textbook, an app on your phone, feeling like it's just you against this giant language. It can feel really isolating if you let it. But the good news is, it doesn't have to be that way. And this is what it can look like instead. The difference? People. A guide, a mentor, someone who can cheer you on, point you to cool resources, and just be in your corner. That connection can totally transform the experience and give you the confidence to just keep going. So what does this support system look like? Well, it can be a lot of things. It could be a mentor, or maybe just finding native speakers to chat with online. It could be the communities you find when you travel, or hey, even just a group of friends who are learning right alongside you. The main thing is, find your people. Because ultimately, this is what it's all about. Community is what turns a lonely study session into a shared adventure. Connection is really the heart of language, and it absolutely should be the heart of how we learn it. So, we've faced our fears, we've built our toolkit, we've found our community. It all comes down to this, the final step, the resolution to the journey. And you know what? After all the apps and books and classes, the key to really mastering a language is incredibly simple. You just have to do it. You have to open your mouth and use the words. You have to speak, and then speak some more, and then keep on speaking. I want you to just soak in this final image and its caption for a second. Silence can no longer be my language. Wow. I mean, that's it right there. It's this powerful declaration that you are done with the fear, you are ready to step out and use your new voice. So, in the end, remember, this whole journey isn't just about learning vocabulary. It's an invitation to connect with a huge part of the world in a totally new way, to build bridges, to see things from a different perspective. So, the only real question left is, what are you going to say?